What's up, guys? It's Alan Odinson, and this is The Draw, the mind, body, and bow connection. A butterfly was trying desperately to dig its way from a cocoon. A man decided to break that cocoon open for the butterfly to free him. The butterfly was never able to use its wings to fly. Little did the man know the wings could only develop the necessary strength to fly from the struggle of escaping the cocoon. There's strength in that struggle. Most people give up at the first sign of difficulty. Those people will never build the strength to fly. Don't be the one who stops in the middle. Be the one who continues until the end. I posted this story today on our Odinson Archery Facebook page, and it really spoke to me on many different levels, not just on a level of developmental skills for archery, but also just on a personal level as well. For you guys that don't know me, my name is Alan Odinson, and I am the owner of Odinson Archery. I've been a archer slash boyer for going on most of my life now, but I've been running this business for a little over 10 years now, and we make and sell bows at affordable prices for people all across the world. So you can check out all of our stuff at odinsonarchery.com. You can also check out my new book, The Thumb Draw Codex, Guide to Learning Thumb Draw Archery, a nice, quick, no fluff, no filler book on just learning the craft that is thumb draw archery. You can find that also at odinsonarchery.com. So today we're going to be obviously talking about struggle and why struggle matters. And you'll find, and it's one of the great things about archery, is it really just tells you a lot about a lot of different things. The process of becoming skilled at shooting a bow just connects to so many different things that we really feel in life. And the more I reflect on them, the more I realize just how much archery does have to teach us. The struggle that we go through daily, it's essential. And I know that if you're like me, man, you hate running into troubles along the way. I like a good smooth day. You know, I don't like to have to run into anything too difficult every day. If I had the choice, a lot of times I feel like I would just want to just cruise through the day, no surprises, no nothing. But in all honesty, through all those struggles, that's where the growth happens for us. You see, struggle's not just a part of archery, it's essential to the growth of the archer as a person. I get a lot of comments from people and messages a lot of times about struggling with learning the art that I teach with archery, of thumb draw archery. For a lot of people, especially here in the West, it's a very difficult skill to get used to because it's very foreign to the way we've been taught over the years with Olympic archery and the Mediterranean style, the three fingers and arrow on the left side of the bow if you're a right-handed shooter. All of that kind of gets reversed as a thumb draw archer. And a lot of people I know, man, they just get started on the path and they just quit along the way, either due to lack of instruction or just frustration, the struggle. Every time I shoot the arrow, it goes flying off to the right. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that, how many times I've seen that when I'm teaching people. And a lot of people just choose to quit rather than allow that struggle to teach them. But not just teach them how to send an arrow where it needs to go. It teaches them how to overcome a lot of adversities if they really step back and look at it at a distance. One of the things that I like to say, it's a quote I heard years ago, kind of paraphrased, where people say that, you know, failure is not an option. And the reality is that failure absolutely is an option. It's the easiest option you can actually choose, but it is a choice. You can choose to fail or you can choose to succeed. And I'm going through something right now that I've been kind of keeping close to me, and I'm going to continue to do that until I succeed at it. But each and every day I get up and I attempt this particular thing that I'm working on. And I have more failures than successes. But I can tell you also that I'm not going to quit, even though people around me are telling me just to back off on it. They're saying, man, maybe you should just kind of lay that to the side. I refuse. I refuse. It is a choice. And as long as I'm capable of continuing to push forward, I will continue to push forward. And I can tell you just from a personal standpoint, the failures that I've had along the way in learning this new thing has helped me grow so much as a person. But with archery, man, it's been one of those things that I look back on, and I kind of, when I'm out shooting, I think about this. I think about the struggles that I had initially when I was learning thumb draw archery, and it echoes the same struggles that a lot of other people have. Because the funny thing about the bow, and this is one of the reasons I love it, especially traditional archery, the bow doesn't give you anything for free. You get nothing. The bow is going to do what the bow does, and it will give you nothing. There are days, even though I think I'm a pretty good shot and I shoot a lot of different distances and do all kind of trick shooting and things, there are days that the bow just doesn't seem to work for me. Like I can't get my entire mind, body, and spirit connected, and I have bad days. It happens to everybody. Anybody that tells you they don't have bad days is probably lying to you. Okay, you have bad days sometimes when you're shooting, but the bow will tell you what you're doing wrong if you're willing to listen. Because if you spend enough time shooting archery, you're going to find that it doesn't necessarily just challenge you. It changes you in a way. Think about that for a minute. If it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. For me, all of the major wins I've had in life, man, I can look back on them and I can be like, yes, that's great. And I did this, I did that. But the failures I've had over the years, those are the things that really inspired change. I think about it a lot with, I'm very analytical in everything I do. And for a lot of you guys know that I'm also a martial artist. And there are times when I go and train and you have those days where I'm doing jiu-jitsu and I'm on point, man. I'm tapping people out, I'm reversing, I'm doing great. And if you look at the entire session as a whole, like I'm like A+. But then there's that one guy that just happened to catch me in an armbar. And I will absolutely obsess over that armbar, and I'll figure out why it happened. What did I do wrong? How can I change that? And I'm going to tell you what, the next week it's not going to happen. The same thing happens when I'm shooting archery. I'm analyzing. That's one of the reasons with the book, I have an archery training journal. I write this stuff down and I keep track of what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong, things I can correct, things I'm doing good, things I can do better at. You keep yourself accountable, and that's what the bow does. If it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. It's like drawing the bow back, drawing like a heavier draw weight bow. A lot of people will see me shooting the bow and they'll say, man, was that like a 25-pound bow? LOL. I get that all the time. And I'm like, no, it's actually like a 50-pound bow. And they're like, what? There's no way. You make that look way too easy. Well, that's because I built up the strength to overcome that resistance that the bow's giving me. Because, as I said, the bow doesn't give you anything free, and that includes strength. That includes your ability to wield it. That includes your ability to aim it. The bow is going to do what it's going to do. It says, listen, you're going to have a level of strength to be able to overcome me, and until you can do that, you can't use me. Not effectively, at least. It's the same way in life, man. It's the same things we have every single day. You're always going to run into that resistance when you're trying to push towards something. But you're going to have to build the strength to be able to master it. And I'm not just talking physical strength. I'm talking mental strength, spiritual strength, something that a lot of people don't think about. And I know for a lot of us, if you're like me, man, you get frustrated, right? I'm a very goal-oriented person, and I hate waiting for things. I hate playing the long game a lot of times, and I get frustrated when I can't do something. I get really upset, and you just like, man, I'm throwing in the towel. I'm done with this. But you have to understand that frustration is feedback, right? Again, I compare it to the things I do the most with like martial arts. When I first started doing kickboxing and boxing and things like that, man, you keep getting peppered with a jab, right? Bam, getting hit, getting hit, getting hit. You can get mad of the fact at the person that's jabbing you in the face, or you can use that frustration of getting hit in the face as feedback and go, huh, what am I doing wrong? I run into the same thing when I started learning Mongolian wrestling, bulk, and I'm working with my coach, American Hungai, and I feel like I've been wrestling most of my life, man. And when this guy grabbed me, I was like, oh my God, this is different. And he proceeded to throw me repeatedly for the next 10 minutes. And was I frustrated? Not in the least bit, because I'm receiving feedback. I'm like, okay, I'm taking mental notes. Why did I get thrown here? What happened here? I went back and reviewed. I videoed it. I reviewed the video to see what I did correct, what I did incorrect, and I made changes. That's what we have to do. And the same thing happens with our archery. We got to really look at this bow more than just shooting an arrow into a target, hunting bullseyes. This bow is teaching lessons. Why did you miss your shot? What happened when you made that shot? And this is why that journal is so important. When you made that shot, what happened? Are you collapsing on your release? Are you a creeper? Are you creeping forward? Are you setting into your anchor correctly? There's always an answer to what's happening. Even though you may have a bad day, you're getting feedback along the way if you're willing to listen. The bow is trying to teach you how to use it. It's not greedy. It's not going to hold all the information to itself. It's going to teach you what to do, but you have to be willing to listen. For me, I would say that two of the biggest lessons that the bow has taught me over the years is dealing with probably two of my kryptonites that I've had since childhood, and we've all got them. I'm not ashamed to expose mine. Is issues with self-doubt and just being impatient, right? With the bow, if you've got any doubt in your hold, your aim process and everything, it's going to expose it to you. It's going to show you. And with the impatience, man, I can be very, very impatient person. Like I said, I like fast results, And the bow, especially when it comes to understanding your shot process, holding into your anchor, locking into your position, making longer range shots, you've got to be patient. You can't rush that shot. How many of you have ever missed a shot because you rushed it? And here's what's bad. When soon as that arrow left, you went, oh, that's a miss. Because you rushed that shot. Archery teaches you to slow down. It teaches you to trust yourself. It teaches you to trust the process along the way. There's a lot of people that I work with that honestly, they just want those fast results, man. I tell them, look, it's going to take time. You got to put in the work. And that's the key. You got to show up. You got to be consistent. And you got to be willing to face some struggle along the way if you want any level of improvement. Whether it's putting an arrow in the target at 20, 30, 40, 50 yards, or if it's just getting to that next step in life. The bow's willing to teach you, but are you willing to listen? I know in my life, the archery really mirrored the struggle that I had along the path of really learning this skill. And it even extends to my running of my business with OdensonArchery.com. There's been a lot of struggle along the way. I've had a lot of trials and tribulations, again, dealing with that self-doubt, the impatience of wanting to push it to the next level, but having to hold back. I've dealt with a lot of that over the years. But the struggle that I've faced in that, I would say that archery really prepared me for the struggle that I was going to meet in the future. And it really prepared me for a lot of things along the way. It prepared me for being able to trust myself. It prepared me for knowing that I could have the strength and the ability to overcome certain problems that I have. I've talked about at length of my shoulder injuries that I've had over the years. And there was a point where I couldn't even draw a 20-pound bow. And I built up that strength And there was a lot of people along the way, including my family, that was telling me, maybe you need to find something else to do. I don't think you're going to be able to do this anymore. But I refused to quit. I just kept showing up. And I had to deal with years and years and years of still trying to put content out there and teach people, even with a terrible shoulder injury, which was never surgically repaired. So I'm still dealing with it even now. And I've had to deal with, people laughing at me for shooting little lightweight 20-pound bows. But I was just, along the way, I was willing to take it. I was willing to take those shots. I was willing to deal with the struggle and the pain and all the therapy and stuff that I had to do to get this arm working so I could continue to practice the art that I love so much. I was willing to face that struggle. I was willing to deal with the mental anguish, all of that, just to be able to continue shooting and to be able to do the art that I love. And having to overcome that has shown me that I can do other things, man. I'm literally superhuman if I'm willing to put my mind to it. And I think that a lot of us can learn that lesson, not from me, but from what the bow can teach you. So I'm going to leave you with this here. I want something for you to think about. What part of your training are you avoiding because it's difficult, because it's hard, because of the struggle? Are you not wanting to go and practice and really learn the skill? Remember, you're trying to learn thumb draw archery, and you're worried people are going to laugh at you. You're worried you're going to miss the target and you're going to look silly in front of people. What sort of things are you avoiding? Not just in your archery training. What about in life that you're avoiding doing because it's difficult? You're not willing to face that struggle, face that uphill climb to get where you need to be. Think about that. What if that's the exact place you're supposed to lean into? Think about those things. So let's talk about a way we can actually take the bow and integrate it into this. Okay, I want you to think about this. So let's set up. Let's just do like a 3-arrow ritual this week. Okay, I want you to shoot 3 arrows. All right. I want you to focus on your target. Focus on where you want it to go. And at the end of each session, maintain that full focus on what you just did. Have no expectations of what you're going to hit. You ain't even got to be aiming at anything. You ain't got a group. You don't have to do anything. This is about feeling and connecting with the bow and connecting with your mindset and even your spirit. Okay? Just shoot 3 arrows. No expectation on it. And I want you to just think about the draw itself, the struggle, the pulling of that string all the way back to anchor. Do it nice and slow. Feel every bit of tension along the way. And then when you lock into position, I want you to feel that bow fighting against you. Okay? I want you to feel it trying to fight against you, but you through your own will and resistance is holding it in place. And then when you're ready to make that shot, I want you to let it go and send that arrow downrange. I don't care where it hits, and you shouldn't either. This is about learning to feel. This is about learning to connect and learn about the lessons that the bow can teach us. Let's do that this week. 3-arrow ritual. Let me know your results. You can post them, email them to me, whatever, at our Facebook page or on the YouTube down here. Write it in the comments. Let me know what you thought about that. So I want to thank you guys for joining me here again. I enjoy doing these things. And remember, check out the website, odinsonarchery.com. You can also find my ebook there as well as that training journal. You can get them in a bundle. You can get the Thumb Draw Codex and the journal together all in one big bundle. So thank you guys. Go tackle your week. Embrace that struggle. Fight through it. Remember, it's the weight and the fight against that weight that makes you stronger. Keep drawing your bow, my friends.